Hey, look, it's a duck. Never mind. It was a special duck. But hey, look what I have for Nintendo Switch. And it's so snuggly in there. Just take a look at this. You can open it up. There's thing for cartridges and... Wait a minute, that's not a Switch again, isn't it? Yeah, definitely, that's not a Switch. That's a little bit different thing. Well, in any case, let's seize this opportunity and get to know this little thingo a little bit better. You know what? Back in the noughties, especially in the late noughties, like 2008, 2009, everybody was like, hey, how about we grab a regular laptop and make it smaller? But how small are we talking about? Let's put aside this Sony for a bit. Meet the real meat of the deal. This was the regular size of the thing that was called the netbook. Technically a laptop that was supposed to be useful only for the internet because it all had Intel Atom. They didn't have a good or useful CPUs in them. They didn't have any GPUs in them, and as you can see on this one, the black dots or the black crosses here is the keys that don't work. They were not very stable, right? They were not very stable, but this one is like, it's a kilo, and it's a chunkster. It's a real chunkster. Meet Sony again. This thing is, I think, half of a kilo, and it is the same netbook, the same crappy lappy with the same Atom that was designed for, technically they say it was designed for Windows Vista, and as the regular laptop, the netbook, it was designed to surf the interwebs. Apparently on the go, because this thing had Wi-Fi and two types of memory cards and two types of USB, and this particular model, you will probably not see that, but just trust me, this thing means that the SIM card could be inserted in there, and this thing could be used as a phone. Just kidding. It was never meant to be used as a phone, but it was meant to be used as the cellular modem. You know how you use your regular phone right now, the smartphone, to access the internet? This thing could do that technically, but it was slow as heck because, you know, 2008, 2009, not very fast internets. Hey. But why were they so popular? They were affordable. Unlike this thing, the regular netbook, like this one, this was cost about 400 euros, maybe 400 bucks or whatever. This thing cost like a proper laptop. 1,000 bucks for this thing, for this small opportunity to use it as your daily driver of whatever, of Facebook checker. This, well, yeah, it's a chunkster, but I mean, they both have a full-size keyboard. Well, not full-size, but some size keyboard. They both have the mouse pointers. This has a touchpad, this has the touch point or whatever. And technically, I don't think I knew anybody who preferred their Vaio P. This thing is really what's called Vaio P. Just a letter P. I know nobody who owned that. I knew people who were working with those things because they had to be in touch basically with their emails and all of the business stuff that I'm not fairly familiar with. But somebody who owned those? No, I have no idea. Even this one was owned by some organization. I will not tell you which organization was that, but trust me, this was not in possession of one individual. This though, this was. but it's decaying. Speaking of decaying, if you want to see this thing being repaired, just write that in the comment somewhere down below, and I will get to repairing it. In any case, smallness of the laptop the Sony provided. They even promoted this thing as you can even fit it in the back pocket of your jeans, and you could. Seriously, you could. This thing could be fit in the jeans pocket. Although it wasn't very popular because thousands of bucks. Who would think to have thousands of bucks just wasted on the Atom laptop? I don't know. Nowadays, Atom is absolute garbage. You cannot go to the internet using Atom of the first generation. Atom of the first generation just struggles to load the basic Google page. It just stops working when you try to reach your Gmail account. Of course, forget about video. Once, back in the 2000 noughties, you could use this thing to watch YouTube, and the resolution of this thing was just great. Especially, I mean, this Sony, not any netbook. The Sony has the very best resolution of any netbook ever on the market. And you could watch YouTube or Facebook videos. Not anymore. You see, not anymore. The CPU just throttles into the 100% as soon as you go into YouTube. Why? I don't know. I have no idea what kind of things they use, but they are not compatible with old Atoms. Is it useless now? Boom. Jump cut. Well, as you can see now, yeah, you can almost see hands there. I have installed Windows on this thing. I know, what was I thinking and so forth, but you can understand me, right? This thing was designed for Windows Vista, right? So it should technically be able to handle Windows 7. At least that was my thought process. This particular Vaio P is rated by Windows 7 rating system with 1.9, and all of that because the Atom processor. I bet you right now the CPU is going to the 100%. This is just loading YouTube and it's going to 100%. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's netbook. It's supposed to be very good with internet services and whatnot. Yeah, that. I just want to shut it down and never turn it. But with all seriousness, if you install Linux, the most lightweight distro, the one that will not monitor all of the happenings in the system all the time, you will have some of the processing power to run games. But the best, the absolute best you can hope for is something from like Morrowind, pre-Morrowind. Morrowind is your top. Morrowind is the latest game you can ever hope to run on this thing. Well, this was a very good concept. I don't know why they decided to plonk the Atom processor in this thing while they already had the low power consumption Celerons or Pentiums or whatever mobile processors. I mean, I understand the $1,000 price for this thing. It is small, it is lightweight, it is useful, it is compact, but seriously, all of that diminished by the Atom processor. Gosh. Can I recommend it? Of course not. It's just an interesting piece of tech that I like and I use sometimes. But most of the times I do use my regular PC. Should you get yourself one if you see the opportunity? I don't see why you shouldn't. If you're into retro stuff like these things or DOS or early Windows emulations, Go for it. You want to learn Linux? Again, use this thing. Doesn't matter if everything crashes, you can reinstall new Linux. Awesome thing, really. Yeah. But back in the day, $1,000 for this thing. Get your stuff together, Sony. That's not fine.